Hey, it's Vondervol. Alright, so, before we get started, I'm gonna say a few things. So, last time, I realized during editing that I didn't actually explain anything really about what this show is. So, yeah, I think it's time I cleared that up. Basically, it's reviews. If you can even call them that. The title of the show comes from whether or not something is, well, Vondervol. Get it? It's like wonderful, but with a German accent, or Russian, Slovakian, or... So let's say a score of like 8 to 10 out of 10 is Vondervol. 6 or 7 is sort of Vondervol, and 5 and below is not Vondervol. Alright, so I'm not so sure what was up at the last episode, but it went by a lot faster than I intended it to. I don't know, I guess I was in a hurry to get it out or something. In this one, we're gonna slow things down a little bit. Take our time. So, if you couldn't tell by the title, or you can't read, or whatever, we're covering a video game. But not just any video game, this is the most recently released video game that I own. At least it will be until Fallout 4 comes around, and then Just Cause 3, then Ghost Recon Wildlands, The Division. Alright, but let me just be clear. When I first purchased this game, the copy I got was for the Xbox 360, as it wasn't released on the PC at the time. Plus, I didn't really have a PC that could come anywhere close to running this game on any setting. Since then, I've gotten myself a shiny new graphics card, and this game runs pretty good on it. If it can run Skyrim with mods at 60 FPS, it can run anything. I'm sure I'll upgrade my rig in a year, or 2, or 10. But for right now, you and I are stuck with this little lady. Alright, now on to the game. So for this episode, I'm deleting my old save file and starting a new game. And sorry to disappoint some of you, but I'm not going to play through the entire story just for this episode. I'm not that crazy. I mean, I've already played through this game 5 times before making this episode, so yeah, it kind of gets a little old after a while. So let's say I go to 50% game completion. That seem fair? Well, too bad. So the game starts up and we're robbing a bank in the fictional city of North Yankton. It's kind of like the Fargo of the GTA universe. So this opening is actually really well designed for a modern game. It teaches us how to play the game through beginner's tutorials, but with the very least knows that we aren't stupid, and lets the player figure out how the game works on their own. Well, most of the time. It seems like most modern games take like 20 minutes to hold your hand through a string of tutorials that just make you want to say, I know what a video game is. Thanks. So you reenact the movie Heat, with some actors nobody's ever heard of, and after a smashing end to a police chase sequence, 2 of your guys get shot as one runs away. And then it's on to the opening credits. So Grand Theft Auto 5 takes place in Los Santos, Los Angeles in the GTA universe. Here's a fun fact for you. I actually grew up in Simi Valley, which is a small town about a half an hour outside of LA. My mother worked in an office in the city, so I went out there quite a lot. It's a big part of my childhood. I know this city like the back of my hand. Would I ever live there now? I don't know, man. The gas prices just seem to be agreeing with me more where I am now. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be moving out to the Gold Coast anytime soon. Besides, why go and live there when you can play around with a scaled-down digital version here? So we're introduced to our third playable character, Franklin.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named
Franklin.
from the gang.
Franklin is actually the character that I prefer to play as in the story mode. I'm not sure why. I guess I just like this character much better than the other ones. Maybe it's because I don't know too many black people. Well, I mean, no, that's not true. I have lots of black friends. I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't play as a black character otherwise, you know? I'm all about black people. I really... I'm not racist.
You fucking racist.
Alright, so no doubt by now you've noticed the stuttering and visual bugs in the gameplay footage. Or if you haven't, then your quality threshold must be a lot higher than mine. Well, you have Bandicam to thank for that. Don't worry, I fixed the problem by switching to another recording program. Just thought I'd let you know and not try to dance around it and pretend it's not there. 'Cause if I'm not honest to my audience, I'd be a crappy host, I guess. So if you couldn't tell, Grand Theft Auto 5 is a very story-heavy game. At least, the story mode is. We are introduced to these characters, and their problems suddenly become ours to solve. Problems like rival gangs, police chases, and various family issues. Well, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the story. The whole point of this show is to show the viewer something that I enjoy in an attempt to get them to try it out for themselves. I personally really enjoy GTA 5's storyline, and I don't want to spoil too much about it. Besides, the main part of a video game review should not be about the video game's story, but about the video game itself. How does the game look? How does it play? Well, the game looks amazing. I'm thoroughly convinced at this point that we'll have games that look exactly like real life in like 10 years. Maybe less if technology keeps going upwards at the pace it has been. Seriously, in the span of 20 years, we've gone from this to this. GTA 5 pretty much completely embodies my favorite genre of video game. An open-world, third-person shooter. So you can probably see why I picked the lineup of games I plan on getting. Well, I think the reason I like this genre so much is because of how non-linear it is. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy games that are not exactly what one would consider deep, and just about getting from point A to point B and completing various objectives along the way. I just get way more immersed into a game when I don't have to sit through a loading screen to get to the next level. I think that's why the 3D Zelda games always really stood out to me. In my opinion, the most important thing about an open world game is, well, the world. The environments they create for the player to travel through and interact with. That's what the player is going to see for basically the whole game, so it better be good. And the map in this game is simply astonishing. Like I said, I know LA really well, and they captured its likeness amazingly. Much better than LA Noire did. Plus there are the northern areas in the game that are very similar to Sacramento. The terrain is really diverse. It's real up and downy. Not to mention, it's freaking huge. So yeah, I think they nailed it on the design of this map. So I suppose in a game called Grand Theft Auto, you'd expect cars to be somewhat of an important element. And yes, I can confirm that Grand Theft Auto has cars. A pretty diverse range of cars too. Only real problem is the cars play copyrighted music, so I can't really play the audio from some of these clips while I'm driving. Hope you don't mind, but I've taken the liberty of putting in some music of my own to replace it. Well anyway, the driving controls in this game are awesome. Much better than in GTA 4. In fact, I think that GTA 5 actually has managed to reach the pinnacle of driving control in video games. It just seems like they found the perfect balance of weight, speed, and control. It is really fun just to get into a really speedy car and see how fast you can race around the entire island. At least, it is for me. But maybe driving isn't your thing. Maybe you'd like to fly a plane or sail a boat. Well, you can. You can fly from the airport to the top of a mountain, jump out, and ride down on some conveniently placed dirt bikes. What about the characters in the story mode? I think some of them are really well fleshed out, three-dimensional characters that make for really entertaining interactions. And other characters just feel like stereotypes of stereotypes. But a lot of them work to the game's overall feel. I know I've seen this guy around California once or twice. And this character, who's a paparazzo, he's displayed as a blood-sucking leech who cares nothing for the privacy of individuals and feeds off the lives of others to make a living. Hit the nail right on the head with that one. But still, the well-written characters are really well-written. Take Michael, for instance. He's a very realistic and identifiable character. He spent a lot of time in his earlier years working hard to make money for him and his beautiful young girlfriend. After getting married and starting a family, he now seeks to find his purpose, slowly realizing that the only thing he's good at doing is that which got him into his current position, his work. Just so happens that Michael's line of work is bank robbing. So, you know. Then of course we have Lester and Ron. They're our lovable neurotic side characters. Then there's Lamar, Simeon, Wade, Amanda, Tracy, and Jimmy.
Just like Jizzle.
Interior crocodile.
Regardless of some of their shortcomings as characters, they are all at the very least interesting or entertaining. Alright, so moving on to... Wait! You didn't think I was just gonna move on without talking about him, did you? The character who is essentially the face of GTA 5, as far as I'm concerned. Let me show you just how much of an impact this guy leaves on me every time I see him on screen. Here's the first time we ever see this character outside of the opening sequence. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Trevor.
Trevor! I'm talking to you, motherfucker!
Are you? What are you saying?
Fucking my girl, man, it's wrong.
Well, I gotta fuck someone. You want me to fuck you instead? Is that the problem here? Take off your pants, cowboy, all right? Let's fuck.
You think this is funny?
Get them off!
I told him to leave it, Trevor. I told him. Leave it. Leave it.
Shut up, Ron. I'm about to fuck me a meth head, ain't I, cowboy? Get my boy sucked from his toothless gums, huh?
Fuck you, Trevor.
Oh,
I still love her.
all right, cowboy. Hey, I know. Hey, come on.
I don't mean nothing by it, man.
I know.
I'm messed up.
I know, cowboy. It's okay, man. Give me a hug, yeah. Fucking shit! Cunt! 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 Who the fuck are you speaking to? Who? I'm talking to you, huh? You fuck! Johnny! Huh? Next time, don't get in my fucking face! I just saw a fucking ghost and I gotta hear your crap! Get up! Get up! Fuck you then!
My God. What else can you say, man? Except that I would be scared shitless over seeing this guy in real life. Yeah, this is a lot of people's favorite characters in the story mode, and you can seriously tell why. He's basically the embodiment of what many people just do in games like this. Run around, killing people, and causing immense amounts of mayhem for no good reason. I still prefer to play as Michael or Franklin, but if anyone asked me which character left the biggest impression, it absolutely, without a single doubt in my mind, would be Trevor. Props to the writers of this character, and props to Stephen Ogg for playing such a great role. They all did a great job making this psychopath both likable and memorable. So now that we've covered all that, let's get on to the gameplay. Like I said before, this is one of the best looking games I've ever played. A lot about the game's look plays into the immersion and fun you can have in this game. If you ever wanted to visit LA and you play this first, I know you'll be disappointed. For one thing, it's much easier to navigate in this game, as it's a great deal smaller than LA actually is in real life. And if you happen to be in Los Angeles at night, there is no feeling that a game can bring out to accurately represent the feeling that you get when wandering LA at night. It's like you look around yourself and you know that from any alleyway on any corner, there can and will be a guy who is ready to jump out and mug you for everything you have. On that corner, there's a prostitute eating an avocado wrap talking to a bunch of Mexicans. And on that corner, In-N-Out is closed. Seriously, as a middle-class white person, you don't know fear until you've seen LA at night. You might as well be in Juarez, but I digress. Just walking around in this game is in and of itself really fun. Just to see the world that these guys created is seriously cool. Even the walking animation looks nice. It's really smooth and wavy. But to me, nothing compares to the amount of fun you can have with vehicles. One of my favorite things to do in this game is get on a motorcycle and ride around in the hills, hitting all kinds of jumps, doing flips, landing tricks. Not to mention flying. Good God, flying in this game is so much fun. Alright, so now that I'm done gushing about all the things that I like to do, let's get on to the things that you probably want to see. So what takes up the main portion of the story mode? Well, aside from pretty much every mission requiring you to either drive somewhere or shoot someone, the real showstopper is the heists. These are basically the main narrative that keeps both the story and the game going. They all involve large amounts of action, including times where you have to switch between characters in order to complete certain objectives. And of course, a big take of goodies, the value of which gets larger and larger as the story progresses. While we're on the subject, what's up with heists in recent years? When I think of heist movies, I think of Reservoir Dogs, Heat, and The Town. When I think of heist games, I think of Payday, Battlefield Hardline, and of course GTA 5. Truth be told, with as dramatic and romanticized as it is in movies and video games, I would totally consider robbing a place in an attempt to score some major loot. I mean, I would if I weren't 100% sure that I would be captured or more likely killed by police long before I see any glimpse of the rich life. I think that's why you don't hear about heists so much anymore, because anyone who tries it is usually shot down immediately. I mean, in America at least. Every cop has a gun here. You may be more likely to rob a place in England, at least as far as their regular police force is concerned, until they get their special forces guys on you. Then you're far past screwed. I don't know, if you really wanted to rob somewhere and come out alive, your options are very limited because of the amount of security that is literally everywhere. I don't know, I say just stick to getting yourself a good education and a well-paying job, and your chances of survival will be a lot higher. Alright, so there's one more thing I'm going to cover about GTA 5, and then it's hasta la vista until October. So with everything in this game, as awesome as it all is, how could it possibly get any better? That's how. You can play online co-op with up to 29 other friends. I don't even think I've spoken to that many people in real life in all of 2015. So after you create your character, you're thrown into an online session and you're free to start your career as a criminal. And as far as that goes, you have a lot of options. You can rob a convenience store, take part in a race or death match against other players, or even better, participate in an online heist. Or you can just drive around in free mode and pick up whatever happens to go down at any given time. If there's something you have a lot of in GTA Online, it's options. So I bet this all sounds way too good to be true, right? Well, yeah, it kinda is. The online heists, though all of them awesome in their own right, the majority of time you'll be spending on these heists is in the menu waiting for people to join your game. And when people finally do, there's no guarantee they will be even remotely competent when playing. Some people don't know where to go or what their job is. It almost makes you wonder how these people are able to exist in real life without the capacity to follow basic instructions. Or read. And in free mode, you'll rarely find a session in which there are people who won't gun you down every chance they get. For real. People in online games are just the worst. And the races and death matches. If the host allows people to use their own equipment, it's game over for you unless you have either a crazily souped up car or else a minigun. So going over all that information, it would seem that the worst things about GTA Online all derive from other people. Strangers, people you don't know who just cause nothing but problems for everyone else. So, if you happen to have a lot of friends who happen to have a gaming PC and also happen to own this game, then I say play with them in a closed friends session, so you can essentially bypass all of the headaches in regular GTA Online. Alright, so I think that pretty much covers everything. And it took a while to get to all of it too. So in conclusion, Grand Theft Auto 5 is an amazing game with some minor hiccups. If there ever was a game that was actually worth the $60 on launch, I think this is it. It's a small price to pay for literally hundreds of hours of entertainment. Definitely check this game out if you haven't already. Grand Theft Auto 5, 9.5 out of 10. I said a hip, hop, a hippie, hip, stop it, you don't stop the rock and do the bang, bang, boogie, say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogity beat. Now what you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the boogity beat, and me, the groove, my friends and I, we're gonna try to move your feet. See,